Corrine had begged him in the hospice, thin and wasted from the cancer that was killing her. "You have to promise." They hadn't gotten on for years, not since he became a club prospect at 16 and she'd turned to her faith. But she was still his mother, so of course he'd promised, and he was a man who kept his word. He knelt and tried to remember the right phrase. "Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. It's been—" How long had it been? Better round down. 20 years since my last confession. A silence from behind the grill. Then the priest's voice. 20 years. That's a long time, my son. What brings you back to us?" He sounded young, a boy. Gabriel shut his eyes. Why the hell was he thinking about the priest's age? What did it matter? All that mattered was the promise he'd made to his mother, the only promise to her he'd ever been able to keep. "I'm not back. I wasn't ever here in the first place. I'm fulfilling a vow, that's all." "A vow?" "I have a sin to confess, priest. You want to hear it or not?" Another silence, this time an offended one. But something in Gabriel's tone must have alerted the guy to the fact that Gabriel was not to be screwed with, because the priest only said, "Tell me then, my son." "I am not your son. I am the son of a beast. I want to kill my father," Gabriel said. The priest perhaps had heard this kind of thing before, because he didn't sound the least bit surprised. "And will you act on these thoughts?" "No. I've decided on another plan of action." "Forgiveness, perhaps?" Forgiveness. Such a weak, paltry thing. His mother had tried that method, and look what had happened. Her death at the age of 51. The doctors had said cancer, but he knew the truth. It hadn't been cancer that killed her. It had been shame, guilt, and loss. The loss of a future she should have had. A future his father had taken from her. A future that you took from her. Gabriel bared his teeth in a smile that had nothing to do with amusement. Yeah, he was as bad as the asshole who'd fathered him. Rotten to the core. "Not forgiveness," Gabriel said, still smiling. "I've decided on vengeance." The others were late. Either that or he was early. Gabriel shifted in the high-backed wing chair he was sitting in, fingers of one hand firmly wrapped around a glass of rare 60-year-old Scotch whiskey, the fingers of the other jammed in the pocket of his jeans, just touching the beads of his mother's antique rosary. After his confession, the priest had given him some crap about Hail Marys and Our Fathers and looking to his conscience, but it wasn't like he'd ever do that shit. His mother had her beliefs and they'd given her comfort, but they weren't for him. So why the hell he was still carrying the thing he didn't know? You know. Gabriel took a sip of the scotch. One glass alone cost hundreds, but he wasn't aware of the taste. Yeah, he knew why he was carrying the rosary. It was a reminder. Like the check for $1 million in his wallet was a reminder. Like the handgun he'd kept from his MC days in the drawer beside his bed was a reminder. Shit, his whole life was a reminder. He put his head back on the chair, took another sip of the scotch, tried to calm his mind before the others turned up, staring around the room belligerently. Christ, he hated this place. The Second Circle, New York's most exclusive private members club, was his friend Alex's baby, and one of 9 other circles scattered throughout the world. Alex had named them after the club he'd begun with Gabriel and 7 other friends one night after too many shots. The 9 circles from Dante's Inferno, a favorite of Alex's. Appropriate for a group of damaged people who just happened to have a ton of money. People who'd committed so many sins between them, even the devil wouldn't know where to put them. Over the years, the 9 had become 4, and since then, Gabriel had preferred Alex's more informal name for them, the fucked-up billionaires, since that's what they all were. He scowled. Alex had given them their usual private room, the one with its echoes of an English gentleman.